Hey friends, I'm so excited to share my Triplex Combo testimony with you today. It has honestly changed my life. So in May of 2015, I had just had my second son, and while that is the most joyous thing, those of you who have had babies, you know that it can take a toll, okay? It can take a toll emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially. And sometimes we need a little help. Here's the other thing. I really struggled the first time around having my first son. I struggled to produce much milk, okay? Especially after I went back to work, I was a teacher, and it was really, really hard to keep up, and I was not able to nurse nearly as long as I had been hoping to and planning to. So this is what drew me to Plexus in the very beginning, strangely enough, was that I saw Sally, my friend Sally, post about how Plexus could improve and increase breast milk. And I was like, what in the world? How is that possible? I didn't understand it, but I trusted her. I reached out to her. I started asking questions, and I thought, why the heck not? Let's give it a shot. I also was kind of struggling because I did not lose the weight, by just like walking down the street and nursing my baby 3 times like I had the first time around when I was in my 20s, okay? So I was looking for a little bit of weight loss help as well. So I started on the Triplex Combo, I think probably in July, and I noticed a lot of things right off the bat, okay? It did absolutely improve and increase my breast milk. Getting my gut healthy, I learned that is the key, okay? So I say improved because it got richer, it got more nutrient dense, it was creamier. You could just look at it and tell a difference. And I was able to really build up my supply, go back to work, and nurse as long as I wanted to without it dwindling, dropping back down. So that was incredible. The other things I noticed were improved energy, okay? The second time around, especially having a baby, you know that it is, speaking of children, that it is even more exhausting than the first time because there is no such thing as sleeping when the baby sleeps, right? You are dealing with a toddler or a child. And so, it's completely exhausting. So the energy that I got from getting my gut healthy and also from Slim was incredible. I was able to actually have some patience and be just a better mom than I had been, okay? It was definitely a game changer for me. People noticed a difference. My mom especially, okay, and y'all, we're the worst to the people we love the most, aren't we? Or is that just me? My mom really noticed. She's like, yeah, you're just kind of different. And I can really tell that Plexus is doing this for you. So that was a huge affirmation to me. Speaking of my mom, I've got a text from her. Anyway, so that was incredible. My sleep improved as well. Y'all, I have struggled over the years for as long as I can remember with bouts of insomnia, especially in high school and in college was when it was really bad. I would get in bed, my mind would be racing. I struggled with some anxiety, and I noticed this especially, like I said, in college. And then again, we struggled for a few years with infertility. And my anxious thoughts would just be overwhelming, especially at night, from that anxiety, from depression that I had struggled with for years. Okay, so a few things about that. My sleep, those thoughts, that racing brain, I was able to shut it off and to get good quality sleep. So even though I had a newborn and I might not have gotten as much sleep as I needed, it was quality sleep like I had never experienced before. The other thing was my anxiety, my depression that I had experienced, and I had experienced it after having my first baby as well. I think I had a touch of postpartum because I am prone toward depression. I tend to run toward the blues, okay? And I've been on medication for it since high school, off and on. I had to go back on it after having my first son. But that was not the case the second time around, okay? And I have found and studied and researched now that so much of that is linked to good gut health. And the Triplex Combo, that is what got my gut healthy. It cleaned out the junk and all of the crud, the toxins that had built up over the years, and put the good bacteria in to fight, to do what it needs to do. And it has balanced my hormones. Okay, so that leads me to the next thing that I want to talk about that is huge, huge, huge for me. I was diagnosed several years ago with polycystic ovarian syndrome, okay, PCOS. And this means a few things. It means I don't have regular cycles at all. So I apologize, gentlemen, if you are not wanting to hear about menstrual cycles, but this is huge. Okay, so I did not ovulate on my own. I would go 9 months, 6 months, 45 days, whatever, without a period. And so then I would get cysts on my ovaries. I would not be ovulating. It was terrible. And we walked through infertility for a few years. I had recurrent miscarriages, 4 miscarriages. And it was just kind of a nightmare. Fertility drugs that did not work, and the whole 9 yards, okay? Now, I have 2 precious miracles that came from God alone. None of those treatments, any of that had anything to do with these babies. They are completely God's gifts to me, which all babies are. But so I was really kind of nervous after having Reeves and then breastfeeding. I was like, what am I going to do when I stop nursing? I do not want to go back on birth control because it makes me miserable. Y'all, I've been on every different kind of birth control you can imagine since I was like 15, because that was when I started having these hormonal issues. And so I just prayed and prayed, God, because I had read the Triplex Combo can help people get their cycles back on track. It can help combat these PCOS symptoms. And so I was just praying that that would be true for me. Well, guess what? So last December 2015, I stopped nursing Reeves by choice. And there were a lot of different reasons for that I won't go into. But I had my first cycle a couple of weeks later, and since then, y'all, it has been like clockwork every 28 days, which stinks, honestly, but it's amazing. It's amazing. And anybody who's ever walked through what I walked through, you understand, you totally get it, where you're like, oh my goodness, yes, praise God. Because that means I don't have cysts on my ovaries. I've been back to my OB-GYN, who has confirmed, yes, no cysts on your ovaries. Everything is completely in working order. I am ovulating as I should be, and it's a miracle. So I am so incredibly grateful. And this is, I tell people, this is the reason why I'm that crazy Plexus lady. It has transformed my life, completely transformed my life in that regard, especially. The other thing that it's done, getting my gut healthy through the Triplex has helped totally combat my seasonal allergies, which are at times debilitating. I would just get so itchy, so congested, so runny, so miserable. And that's not my life anymore. I don't have to be on shots. I don't have to take medication around the clock. And that's amazing. I am able to be, like I said earlier, the kind of mom that I want to be, who gets in there with her kids, who lives life, who's not just kind of surviving on the couch as I was before, letting the kids play around me because I could barely make it through a day. No, I am there with them 100% because I have the energy, I have the balance to be there with them. And so that's why I share Plexus the way that I do. That's why I love these products the way that I do, because they have transformed my sleep. They've transformed my cycle. They've transformed my allergies, my weight loss. I've lost 25 pounds and kept it off, okay? I lost those in the first few months that I was on Plexus, and I've been able to maintain that weight loss, and my metabolism is faster now in my 30s than I feel like it ever has been before, which is crazy, and I'm super grateful for that. And my cravings have completely changed. I used to be a sugar addict, okay? I had to have sugar, and I had to have it now, or I would get that hangry, uncontrollable, just like panic almost. And I've passed out a couple of times because my blood sugar would drop way too low and my blood pressure would drop way too low if I had not had my snacks or had not had my sugar hit. And y'all, that is gone. I would have daily headaches that made me feel sick, made me feel nauseated. Those are gone. I do not live a life, y'all, my whole life was like that. I didn't know I didn't have to feel that way. I just didn't know. I didn't know that anything different, anything better was possible before Plexus. So that is why I share the way that I do. And I feel like I have hope to offer when there are men and women out there who didn't even know that they needed it. Okay, so I hope that this gives you some hope, gives you some excitement, gives you some things to hold on to look forward to. And I just hope that you enjoy these as much as I do and that they can change your life like they have mine.